The death toll from the horrific fire in Marshalltown on Thursday morning now stands at 77. Many of those bodies burnt beyond recognition. A number of foreign nationals were living at 80 Albert Street. 9 of the deceased are believed to be Malawian, and the president of that country is offering assistance to bereaved families. Well, I'm joined now by Moses Kunkuyu, Malawi's Public Information and Civic Education Minister. Minister, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you confirm that 9 of your countryfolk died in this fire?
Thank you very much. The confirmation cannot go by the figures as of now because our mission is still on the ground. And as we are getting updates from them every day, the figures may not be the 9 that have been confirmed that you are referring to, but as we are speaking to the mission in Pretoria, who have been on the ground, moving from one hospital to another, going with family members, those who have lost their loved ones and those whose loved ones are missing, they have indicated that there are challenges in identifying some of the bodies because they've been burnt beyond recognition. Others have sadly been burnt to ashes. So they are working closely with the pathologists, thanks to the South African government, that they are trying to identify the bodies. A few have been identified by their relatives, but there are issues where there are instances where one body is being identified by 2 different families, and that's posing a challenge to authenticate really the real identity of those that have been banned. But the mission is issuing letters that are to authenticate after the identification has been done. They are issuing those documentations to ascertain the identity so that the believed can be accorded decent burial. I am informed that one burial took place yesterday, and as of today, they were expecting that few more burials would take place.
It's such a terribly difficult time, as you say, so many of those bodies burnt beyond recognition, but also you're dealing with utterly traumatized families. What assistance is your government able to offer those families? For example, if they wish to take a body back to Malawi for burial, can you facilitate that? If a whole family wants to perhaps return to Malawi, even care packs for the families. What exactly is Malawi doing for their countryfolk who are in such a terrible situation now?
On repatriation of the bodies, in the current state of the bodies, and also hearing from their close ones. At first, let me say that those that have been confirmed missing or dead, most of them are of the Islamic faith. And their families plus the other community members that they were living with opted that they respect their religious belief by having them buried immediately after they have been identified. So as I said, that the mission has been on the ground trying to ascertain, trying to come up with the actual statistics of the extent of this catastrophe. It is only after that exercise has been done and completed when we'll then be looking at what sort of interventions can be given can be made from the government side. We have always encountered situations which are not as bad as this, where we have lost people in South Africa who have been staying there, and there have been several interventions that have been made. But in this case, since this is unprecedented, it would be too early and too premature for us to make a commitment as to what we are going to do after this whole process by the mission has been done. But we are very appreciative to the South African government for the support that is being given not only to those victims from Malawi, but from all other countries that have been affected by this. We are told that they've been provided with shelter, they've been provided with food, and obviously, as government, we are assessing the situation, and we are going to make announcements as to what is going to be done moving forward.
As you say, this is unprecedented, the scale of the deaths, an utterly horrific incident. From your perspective in Malawi, what do you think South Africa should do about these hijacked buildings? Because it seems it's a criminal enterprise and it preys on vulnerable people, many of whom have come to South Africa in the hopes of making a good living, to perhaps send money home to their families. Do you have any position on how South Africa can tackle this, and perhaps any insights to share?
I think at this time it will not be for us really, much as we would want to see our people living under conditions that are very humane. We believe that is the same view as the same view that will be carried by other countries who have their citizens living in South Africa. These people have a right to they have a right to life, and that demands that they live in a space that is really in accordance with that right. But we believe also that the authorities in South Africa do understand these rights, and they do know the conditions under which people can fully enjoy these rights. So that issue becomes a two-way thing, where one treks to South Africa, lives with the family, hoping to return home in good health and making something for the family. And on the other hand, also, the country where they are living in, providing such kind of an environment to the people that are working or staying in there for whatever reasons. So on our part, there is a role of civic educating our masses, which we continue doing, but also reading out to them the rights that they have wherever they go, and expecting that every country will also respect those rights and ensure that people are living in good conditions. But that may not be a topic for now, because we are still in this process of mourning and standing with the families that have been affected.
Yes, indeed. And thank you so much for telling us what you know from your perspective. Moses Kunkuyu is Malawi's Public Information and Civic Education Minister, explaining to us that while officially 9 Malawians died in that fire, it's by no means certain. And they are really in the process of identifying bodies. Sadly, some of those bodies burnt to ash. Sometimes 2 different families are claiming the same body. So it's a really difficult and delicate process, and a heartbreaking one at the same time.